Lowe's just destroyed Home Depot with these insane DeWALT tool deals. Yes, destroyed. Because what Lowe's just unleashed isn't a sale. It's a full-blown ambush on every DeWALT buyer who thought Home Depot was the safe bet. If you've been loyal to Depot for your yellow and black tools, brace yourself, because Lowe's just exposed that loyalty as the most expensive mistake in the tool aisle. This isn't marketing hype. It's a pricing ambush that rewrites the entire DeWALT battlefield. And most people have no idea it's even happening, because once you learn what Lowe's just did, you'll never look at Home Depot the same way again. The day Lowe's declared war. Lowe's didn't just release discounts. They pulled the pin on a DeWALT grenade and rolled it straight into Home Depot's front door. The moment those deals went live, everything changed. Lowe's wasn't trying to be competitive. They were hunting. They wanted every single buyer who ever stepped into Home Depot believing that the orange aisles were the natural home of DeWALT. Battery bundles, charger kits, and free tool promo structures appeared on Lowe's site like an ambush waiting to be discovered. And suddenly, for the first time in years, DeWALT shoppers were confronted with a very inconvenient truth. Because for too long, Home Depot held psychological custody of the yellow and black empire. It owned the DeWALT narrative. It whispered to every serious buyer that if you wanted premium DeWALT power, performance, or the best price, you started in their store. People bought into that without questioning it. They thought Home Depot was the unchallenged ruler of DeWALT value. But Lowe's shattered that illusion in one strike. They unleashed battery and free tool bundles so aggressive, so value-loaded, that Home Depot's usual free tool with purchase promos looked timid by comparison. This was not a seasonal markdown. It was a calculated takeover, engineered to rip DeWALT loyalty right out of Home Depot's hands and drag it across the street. And anyone who ignored those offers didn't just skip a sale, they got left behind. Because Lowe's next move didn't just challenge Home Depot, it made the impossible deal suddenly real. The deal that shouldn't exist. The exact moment Lowe's crossed the line from competitive to unthinkable began with a deal so oversized, so aggressively engineered, that it felt like the laws of retail economics quietly stepped aside. Because no one, not even lifelong DeWALT loyalists, ever expected to see two 8-amp-hour DeWALT batteries, the kings of the platform, paired with a fast charger and then fused with 3 free DeWALT tools. That's not a bundle, that's a corporate dare. It's Lowe's looking directly at Home Depot and saying, beat this. Because if you know DeWALT, and you know what 8-amp-hour power packs represent, then you also know this offer should not exist. Yet Lowe's made it real. The tension hits hardest when you understand exactly what those 8-amp-hour giants are. These aren't the small batteries that come in starter kits, the ones you toss around for light drilling or simple fastening. These are the high-capacity bruisers, designed for the DeWALT tools that punch hardest. The circular saw that rips stack after stack of plywood. The recip saw that devours framing lumber. The router that shapes hardwood with authority. People normally wince when they buy batteries like this, because even a single one commands a premium price. Home Depot has always counted on that psychological friction. They've sold the big packs like they're a privilege, something you treat yourself to once, maybe twice, because of how steep the price tag can be. Lowe's didn't soften that pain. They erased it. They didn't just discount the 8-amp-hour pack, they used it as a springboard to throw in 3 free DeWALT tools. And these weren't afterthoughts. They weren't cheap fillers, meant to sit in the back of your shop until you eventually give them away. No. The free tools included genuinely desirable options. Routers, saws, driver kits, tools that people actually go out of their way to buy. Real additions to the shop, real upgrades, items that, under normal circumstances, would require careful budgeting and a second look at your bank account. Lowe's didn't ask for second looks. They asked one question. Which 3 do you want? And here's the ego sting that came baked into that offer. While Home Depot was pitching the familiar one free tool strategy, which once felt impressive, Lowe's quietly turned that number into 3. They didn't just step ahead, they lapped them. And the thousands of buyers who jumped on this offer didn't do it because they felt curious. They did it because the deal wasn't merely appealing. It was mathematically embarrassing to ignore. These buyers realized something that many Home Depot faithful still haven't accepted. If they stayed loyal, they were volunteering to pay more for less. But the payoff reveals something deeper, something that makes this deal more than just a short-term win for Lowe's. This wasn't generosity, it was strategic capture. Because once someone owns two 8-amp-hour DeWALT batteries, the kind that unlock the full performance of nearly every high-demand DeWALT tool in existence, they're anchored into the platform at a level that begs them to expand. More torque, more runtime, bigger saws, heavier-duty gear. And if Lowe's is the store that gave them the batteries and 3 solid tools to go with them, then that buyer doesn't just shop at Lowe's once. They shop there instinctively. They go back for more. They stay. They grow. That single deal didn't just steal a transaction from Home Depot, it stole the next 5 years of that customer's tool journey. It ripped up decades of assumed loyalty and rewired it, because no one buys 2 top-tier batteries and 3 free DeWALT tools, and then wanders back to Home Depot to start over. The switch already happened. The psychological transfer is immediate. And here's the uncomfortable truth Lowe's forced into the light. Home Depot never imagined someone would dare offer that much value in one shot. 3 free tools with the strongest batteries in the platform? It blows apart every familiar pricing structure Depot has relied on. It doesn't challenge their system. It humiliates it. Because if Lowe's can do that, then suddenly the question flips to Home Depot. Why haven't you? Why weren't you giving DeWALT buyers this level of value all along? And that's when it hits the viewer's pride, because many have spent years believing Home Depot was automatically the best place to buy DeWALT. That belief was comfortable, safe, but Lowe's shattered it with one deal. And anyone watching who has ever paid full price for high-capacity DeWALT batteries at Home Depot can't help but feel the sting of what they missed. And unbelievably, Lowe's hadn't even played its strongest DeWALT card yet. The trick they hope you never notice. The most wicked twist in Lowe's DeWALT assault wasn't just the deals themselves, it was the design of the deals. Because buried inside those legendary battery bundles was a hidden mechanic that most shoppers miss entirely. A mechanic so subtle, so quietly placed behind a button, that Lowe's might as well have labeled it value reserved for the few who pay attention. Anyone who skimmed the page, clicked fast, or just trusted the default options walked straight past the real treasure. Because the secret of Lowe's DeWALT dominance lives behind a simple phrase, choose your gifts. At first glance, the deal already looks unbelievable. Buy the 8-amp-hour DeWALT battery 2-pack, or the 5-amp-hour XR set, and you get free tools. But the tension begins the moment you click that button and see something most shoppers don't understand. There are already tools automatically selected for you, and those are not always the best ones. The defaults are the trap, the lazy path, the picks that make the deal good, but not the deal that makes your jaw hit the floor. In fact, countless buyers will never know how much they actually walked away from, simply because they accepted what Lowe's pre-filled and never questioned it. And this is where the ego takes another hit. Because the real power move starts when you deselect everything. Remove the options Lowe's hands you. Wipe the slate. Because once you clear out the defaults and scroll, really scroll, through every eligible DeWALT bare tool in that list, the deals transform into something that looks manufactured for insiders only. Routers, saws, specialty drivers, high-ticket pieces that normally require saving up become selectable, free additions. Not discounted, not 50% off, free. Tools that Home Depot regularly treats like premium standalone purchases suddenly become bonuses at Lowe's with the click of a button. And the most stunning part? That list is bigger than it looks at first glance. You have to hit see more. You have to dig. That's where Lowe's buried the highest value tools, the ones that feel impossible to get at no cost. Many shoppers never scroll that far. They assume the visible options are the only ones. They don't explore. They don't hunt. They just accept. And because of that, thousands have already redeemed those bundles without ever touching the most valuable DeWALT items available to them. The deal was already insane, and yet they unknowingly left more free gear on the table. That subtle interface is psychological genius. Lowe's knew that most people are fast, impatient, surface-level clickers. They knew Home Depot loyalists might glance at the first options and shrug, but those who dig, the ones who understand what DeWALT tools truly cost, suddenly see what the deal actually is. A power move that lets them walk away with flagship tools for $0, simply because they knew where to click. It didn't just embarrass Home Depot's pricing, it embarrassed anyone who assumed they already understood what a tool deal was supposed to look like. And here's the real payoff of this design. Once you choose the heavy hitters, the router you always wanted, the saw you've put off, the driver that would normally sting your wallet, your brain rewires instantly. You don't feel like you bought batteries. You feel like you robbed the store. You feel like you exploited a glitch in the system that Home Depot never would have allowed. Suddenly, Lowe's isn't just the place offering deals. It becomes the store that gave you a secret, a cheat code. And once someone holds that feeling, they never look at Home Depot the same way again. Why go back to the shelves that never offered this level of control? Why settle for one free tool when Lowe's just let you build your own DeWALT lineup from the inside out? Because that's the real genius. Lowe's used interface design as a weapon. They didn't just price aggressively, they rewarded curiosity. They rewarded intelligence. They rewarded the shoppers willing to see what others overlooked. And when a retailer can make a buyer feel smart, that loyalty is permanent. And all of that was only preparation, because Lowe's next DeWALT offer didn't just bend the rules, it broke them clean in half. The nuclear option, 5 amp-hour XR shockwave. If the 8 amp-hour bundle was the tremor that rattled the foundation, the 5 amp-hour XR deal was the nuclear blast that followed. This was the moment Lowe's stopped pretending to be the underdog and openly lunged for Home Depot's throat. Because when they dropped a bundle built around 2 5 amp-hour DeWALT XR batteries, premium cells in the DeWALT universe, paired with a charger, and then casually attached 2 free DeWALT tools to that kit for only $299, they rewrote the math of value. That's the kind of offer you normally see whispered about in forums, not sold openly on the website of a national retailer. The kind of deal that makes you stare at the screen waiting for an error code because it looks like someone accidentally stacked discounts that were never meant to overlap. To understand why this was Lowe's most aggressive strike yet, you have to understand what 5 amp-hour XR batteries actually mean. They're not the slim packs that come with entry-level combos. They're the balanced point between runtime and power, the sweet spot that unlocks nearly every major DeWALT tool without feeling like a brick in your hand. They've always been priced like prized possessions at Home Depot, the kind of thing you budget for, wait for a modest holiday sale, and finally grab when you're tired of recharging every 10 minutes. Depot treats XR packs like they're relics, technically available, but strategically expensive. And DeWALT enthusiasts accepted that for years, as if it were unavoidable. Lowe's shattered that conditioning in one stroke. They didn't charge a premium for XR. They used XR as bait. They bundled 2 of the best mid-size batteries DeWALT makes, added the charger so you're instantly operational, and then dropped 2 free bare tools into the package, like icing on a cake that was already outrageous. Not low-tier freebies, not filler. We're talking routers, saws, drivers, hand-picked gear that buyers actually want. Tools that normally demand a separate purchase, a separate decision, a separate dent in your wallet. For Lowe's, those tools became the thank you gift, simply for choosing their XR bundle instead of Home Depot's aisle. And the tension gets uncomfortable once that sinks in, because suddenly Home Depot's famously good DeWALT deals, the ones people bragged about for years, start looking small, predictable, safe. While Depot was offering single tool promos with a single free item, Lowe's was handing out a premium battery kit and 2 free tools at once. If you've ever paid full price for XR batteries at Depot, that realization hits like a punch. You didn't have to. You only did because no one told you this price war was possible. And before we hit the final twist of what this deal really meant, let's pause right here for a moment. If you're the kind of person who hates wasting money, who wants to stay ahead of price drops, and who doesn't want to miss the next time Lowe's detonates another DeWALT shockwave like this, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe right now. Because when deals like these surface, they don't linger, they vanish. And the people who know first are always the ones who win big. Because here's the real payoff. This XR bundle wasn't Lowe's being generous. It was Lowe's firing the final warning shot, They proved they were willing to break every assumed price barrier around DeWALT if it meant ripping loyalty out of Home Depot's hands. They made XR batteries cheaper than anyone ever imagined and turned premium tools into freebies as casually as a weekly coupon. And when that happens, something irreversible occurs. Home Depot stops being the default, because no buyer who experiences this level of value once can ever look at Depot's DeWALT aisle and feel the same certainty again. It's not the better deal. It's not the automatic choice. It's just familiar, and Lowe's proved familiarity is not worth paying more. Lowe's forced every DeWALT shopper to ask a question Home Depot never wanted to hear. If Lowe's can offer this, why hasn't Depot ever tried? And the most brutal truth is this: even the XR deal wasn't Lowe's final blow in the DeWALT takeover. The router that broke the internet. When the dust settled from the 8 amp-hour explosion and the XR shockwave, one specific DeWALT tool kept resurfacing in conversations, carts, screenshots, and receipts: the compact router. And it wasn't because Lowe's discounted it. They did something far more violent to Home Depot's pride. They made the router free, again and again, across multiple DeWALT bundles, battery kits, and fast charger promos. This single tool kept showing up as a $0 pick, the kind of freebie that makes experienced buyers stare at their screens, wondering if somebody at corporate has lost their mind. Because anyone who actually uses DeWALT knows this router isn't a small accessory. It's one of the crown jewels of the platform. The tension should hit like a brick if you've ever tried to buy one. This router is the type of tool that creates instant "I'll grab it one day" hesitation. A versatile workhorse built for cabinetry, edges, joinery, finishing, flush trimming, everything that requires finesse married to raw torque. It's not a cheap extra you toss in a drawer. It's the upgrade tool, the one that finally solves the limitations you've lived with. And Home Depot knows that. Which is why, under normal circumstances, the router sits comfortably on shelves with a premium tag attached. Something that costs enough to make you think twice. Something Depot expects you to save up for. And that's exactly why its appearance as a free tool option at Lowe's struck like thunder. Because making that router free doesn't just add value. It mocks the entire idea of buying it at full price anywhere else. Lowe's didn't pick some obscure, dusty leftover tool to attach to their bundles. They chose one of DeWALT's most widely praised compact machines, the piece many woodworkers, fabricators, and builders have dream-listed for months. And then they flipped the script so brutally that the same router Home Depot customers had been debating, saving for, budgeting around, became a no-charge checkout box option at Lowe's. And here's the sting. It didn't show up just once. It wasn't a limited placement or a one-day glitch. It kept appearing over and over in multiple DeWALT bundles. Pick the 8 amp-hour batteries, you could grab the router. Choose the XR deal, the router was waiting again. Everywhere DeWALT batteries showed up with free tool options at Lowe's. The router was hovering in the list, as if it were daring people to believe what they were seeing. And if you doubt the psychological effect of that, imagine the buyer who just paid full retail for it at Depot 3 weeks earlier. Imagine how it feels to discover they could have received that same tool not as a purchase, but as a bonus. That's the brilliance behind Lowe's move. It wasn't just price warfare, it was emotional warfare. Choosing that router as a repeating option twisted the knife of realization deeper every time someone scrolled. It didn't just say, Lowe's has better deals. It screamed, Home Depot made you think these tools cost more than they really needed to. That router became the centerpiece of the quiet humiliation Lowe's inflicted. If they were willing to surrender a fan-favorite DeWALT router for $0, what other assumptions had Depot conditioned shoppers into accepting without question? And when a tool that normally demands $100+ becomes a free attachment over and over again, the buyer's brain flips. They don't feel like they're shopping a sale anymore. They feel like they've hacked the system. They feel smarter. They feel like insiders who found a loophole DeWALT fans at Home Depot never get access to. And once someone feels that surge of confidence, once they feel like Lowe's unlocked something Depot has kept protected behind normal pricing, it's over. Loyalty shifts instantly. The router wasn't just a tool, it was a turning point. The proof, the ego-lashing evidence that Lowe's was willing to give shoppers more than Home Depot ever dared. because making that router free again and again told the whole story in one gesture. Lowe's wasn't trying to compete, they were trying to conquer. And anybody who grabbed that router as their free tool walked away, not just with a legendary upgrade, but with the realization that they had just taken value Home Depot never offered them. And if the router was the symbol of conquest, Lowe's next move was the moment Home Depot's DeWALT pricing model officially collapsed. The price collapse. That humiliated Home Depot. After the router shockwave, Lowe's went straight for DeWALT's core machines, the tools everyone recognizes as the backbone of the brand: the oscillating multi-tool, the half-inch drill, the impact driver, circular saws. Instead of keeping those prices locked behind the usual premium tags, Lowe's simply began cutting them down. $30 off here, $60 off there. Tools that normally sit on Home Depot's shelves like immovable monuments suddenly dropped so low that Depot's traditional free tool promos looked timid and outdated. That's where the tension hit hardest. These weren't side pieces or clearance scraps. These were the exact tools most builders, remodelers, and shop owners reach for every day. The multi-tool that slices through anything. The drill that bores through studs. The impact that buries hardware. Tools Home Depot treats like full-price necessities. And yet Lowe's tore the price structure open, proving those numbers were never sacred, just uncontested. Once buyers saw DeWALT's highest demand tools crash into price ranges that no one expected, something shifted forever. It didn't just feel like a sale, it felt like exposure, a reveal. The moment shoppers realized Home Depot could have dropped those prices, but never did. And that realization hurts. Because when you finally see how cheap these tools can get, every past purchase at Depot feels like an overspend. That's the quiet humiliation. Lowe's showed the market that DeWALT value goes far deeper than Home Depot ever let buyers believe. And once people see that, Depot stops looking like the obvious destination for DeWALT and starts looking like the store that never tried as hard as it could. And if that shock wasn't enough, wait until you see how many shoppers abandoned Home Depot once these DeWALT deals went viral. The 5,000 buyer frenzy. The clearest proof that Lowe's didn't just compete, but humiliated Home Depot came from the numbers. When these DeWALT bundles went live, thousands of buyers didn't hesitate. They swarmed. Listings showing 5,000 purchases in a week, comment threads erupting, screenshots of carts loaded with batteries and free tools. The market spoke louder than any ad. Lowe's deals weren't good, they were irresistible. And the tension grew as buyers realized the free tools were disappearing. Routers gone, saws removed from the list, options shrinking by the hour. People raced to check out because they knew hesitation meant settling for leftovers. Meanwhile, Depot loyalists watched in disbelief as their go-to store got ignored during the biggest DeWALT rush anyone had seen. The payoff is brutal for Home Depot. Those thousands of purchases weren't just transactions, they were conversions. Every XR kit sold, every free router claimed, every battery bundle redeemed shifted loyalty toward Lowe's. Shoppers didn't just save money, they switched sides. And believe it or not, Lowe's still had one final DeWALT strike that sealed Home Depot's fate: the coup de grace. By the end of these deals, Lowe's didn't just beat Home Depot, they executed the final move that turned a pricing battle into a takeover. Every 8 amp hour bundle, every XR kit, every free DeWALT router or saw wasn't just a discount, it was bait with a long tail. Lowe's knew that once buyers walked out with top-tier DeWALT batteries in their hands, every future tool purchase would bend back toward the store that gave them the most value. Battery loyalty is ecosystem loyalty. And the moment Lowe's started handing out serious DeWALT power packs with free tools attached, Home Depot lost its grip on the yellow and black crowd. The real damage wasn't today's sales, it was tomorrow's habits. Because nobody who stocked up at Lowe's is walking into Depot to buy bare tools at full price. The battery is the chain. And Lowe's now owns that chain. They didn't discount to be kind. They discounted to flip the psychology. They made themselves the default destination for DeWALT buyers. And once that association forms, it's nearly impossible to undo. Lowe's didn't match Home Depot's offers. They exposed the fact that Depot never gave this level of value in the first place. So here's your moment. If you run DeWALT, if you've ever paid full price, if you've ever assumed Depot was where value lived, You owe it to yourself to look at what Lowe's just did. Don't let habit cost you money. Don't let assumptions blind you. Go see the deals. Compare them yourself. And when you do, you'll feel the same shock thousands already felt. Lowe's didn't just match Home Depot. They destroyed them. Now go see why. And if you want to stay ahead the next time a deal like this detonates, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because when Lowe's drops another DeWALT bomb, you do not want to be the last to know.